All right, Mr. Arwin, you've been here for a week.
Yeah.
We had a very beautiful scenic background, but we were too dark. So now you guys get to look at other picnic tables, but 20 feet away, there's a sign that says, "Attention, don't feed the alligators." So now we have eyes on the alligators. We have a beautiful lake. We are in Lakeland, Florida. We just had Longhorn Steakhouse. You had a burger, proper burger.
Yeah.
So I guess you've been here for 7 days. Take it all the way from the top. When you were landing, you said that you were surprised at how many golf courses and how flat it was, right?
How flat, yeah.
On the calls, I say, "Oh, I've never seen a mountain."
Yeah.
But when we were on the 15th floor of the hotel,
yeah,
it's just flat.
It's flat,
totally flat.
yeah.
So, and also, whenever you leave a building, you say, the heat smacks you right
in the face. Yeah, that's very true. It's very hot here, very, very humid and hot.
Very hot. So, all right. So you get here, you land, 9-hour flight.
Yeah.
You were between two big guys, but you got lucky. You got an empty row. So
yeah.
You got lucky. On that one. All right. So what did we do when we first got here? We went to Shake Shack.
Yes.
And then since it was kind of like a half day, kind of like a quarter of a day, we just walked past the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. You were like, "Oh, Peter Millar.
Yeah.
Oh, Zegna.
Yeah.
Tommy Bahama." So do you have those brands over there, or?
So for the Zegna, yes. Tommy Bahama, I said to you, I found one shirt, and I was shocked. And then Peter Millar, maybe I've just never looked in the right place because it's golf apparel, so they should be there. It should be there. But some of them are just are rarer to see. It was just for me, it was more shocking. I know they're not massive BOLOs, but it was hearing you say it all the single time, and then seeing them in real life.
So I know some of the BOLOs for you. Oh, this is my wife. She must see an alligator. We might have to come back. Hello? How far are you? Big one? All right. Arvin wants, what do you saw? Gator or croc?
No, gator. Gators.
I want to see a gator.
Gators.
Wait, we'll be right back. That's a proper alligator for your first one.
Wow.
So there's an alligator, 4 feet below us?
Literally. This
is a good size one. Like they have some like okie doke alligators, some little ones. This one's probably close to 10 feet long. This is a good size alligator here. What do you think?
Oh, it's scary. I've never seen one, so he's impressive. He's very impressive.
And this guy keeps going by the edge. I keep having to say, "Arwin, get back from the water." All right. Gator interruption.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
It was worth it, though.
That was a very, very good sized alligator. That's the first good alligator to see.
Yeah.
All right. So the first day you came, we didn't really do much because, like I said, you came in the afternoon and, I didn't know how long it was going to take for you to clear immigrations and all of that. So we just kind of had fun that night. The second day, you went with my best guy sourcing, and he gets most of his stock from the bins. And I know you have a lot of notes and, you're a little conscious about looking at the notes, but I want to go through all of the notes. Okay. Let's check them all.
So the day started at 6 a.m. I woke up at 6 a.m. He was already waiting down for me. He came to pick me up at your house, and then we drove around an hour to the bins where he goes. The very first shock that I had with him was as soon as we were turning into the shops, the Goodwill, I remember everyone started saying hi to him. Everyone started like, "How are you? We haven't seen you in this day or that day." So everyone already knew him. So that already shocked me quite a lot. Then the other thing that shocked me was is that we did the line for the bins. Mm-hmm. And we actually put a bottle, it wasn't a rock.
But it was a reseller rock.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a bottle. Then I discovered, obviously, I had my first experience with the bins, that rush of opening the gates and going inside and then being very, I wouldn't say it's competitive, but it's,
keep going.
It's, I would say people are not aggressive. I can't find the word. Like, when you have a lot of contact with people, like they push you and, so that shocked me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Then I got with your guy. He started explaining to me how everything works. So he had some secret tips for example, spot the beans, on the rotations. He was saying to me, don't waste your time, because the rush time when the beans come out is what, 10-second rush,
Sure.
15-second, very short, where everyone grabs what they can, and then that's it. So he was giving him some good giveaways, such as should I say?
No, go ahead.
Such as, he said, for example, skip the beans where you see a lot of colors. And then I said to him, how comes? Why is that? And then he said to me, because a lot of colors, a lot of pieces, when you see a lot in the same bin, it's technically always kids' clothes, so they're smaller, so you're gonna see more of them, and that saved me a long time to not go through those bins and just go through other ones. I also understood why is he so busy. I can understand why people do that model of business, which is completely fine, but it's because it's the cheapest.
Yes.
So it's affordable for everyone. People that are going to go there and buy and sell on eBay, people that are going to go there and sell at the flea market, because many of them, we saw them down a few days later, we saw them. So that's why he's going to be so competitive. Let me see. Can I stop like this?
Go ahead, that's fine.
Yeah, the other thing I got from him was, even though the cost price was very low, he doubled and triple checked everything. So for people to understand the way he worked, he took a few carts. In this case, he took 2 because he was very busy that day. And one, we will just chuck everything inside the cart. And then as soon as the round is finished, he will spend the time in between rotations to just go through absolutely everything and double checking holes, stains, evaluating if the stains could come out or not. And then the other thing that impressed me was, while we were talking, while I was asking questions just to get more information, he was literally as wireless, like without even looking, butting up, zipping up, already pre-preparing what was coming home after.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really impressive. I would definitely say that his Rolodex, when we say that it's very important to have them, I've probably never seen something like that. I used to ask him a question about something. Within 2 seconds, he knew if the brand was good or not. He knew every single nuance inside every single category. And as you always say, yes, there is brands that are going to be very saturated, but inside all of them, there's always 100, 200, 300% sell-through rate in some items. You just need to go and get them. In this case, for example, there was a pair of cargo, I think they were cargo super dry shorts, I think it is. Super dry, slow brand to sell. However, cargo shorts, probably like 25 to 30 bucks all day long. I'm just going to go in.
This is just a co-star. He wants a little bit of bread, but he'll fly away.
Also, his knowledge on the clothes itself. So forget about the brands, about the clothes, the manufacturing of the clothes, the why do we take this brand and not that brand. For instance, I asked him about Zara, very popular brand in Europe, Spain, and all these countries. The reason, he said, the quality in Zara is very good for the price that you get. However, the fact of them having 3, 4, 5 different cuts, such as on the labels, you'll see a square, a circle, triangles, all those kind of fittings. He said that it was just too complex. It was just not worth it. Also, he knew exactly how some cuts were meant to be. So for example, Uniqlo would have a more boxy style. So if something has been taken up or long, he knows already that something has been modified on the item. And that was very impressive for him to share all of that knowledge so quickly. And also it was the thoughts. That was probably the biggest one, is the thoughts behind everything. He shops for, so his reasoning behind was, if I give tech something that's bad and the customer complains about it, it's going to be tech's problem and ultimately it's going to be my problem. So always assuring and always wanting to just give the best of the best. And yeah, believe it or not, I was seeing brands that were amazing. I was seeing, as a reseller, I was seeing the reselling value. But for him, it was just, he knew the value. Don't get me wrong, he knew exactly what he was picking. But he knows that the better stuff he gives you, the better he's going to do, And this is what sometimes people struggle to understand. And me, the first one, I put my hand up, is some people don't want to do everything. Or it's not even that they don't want to, is eventually they can't do it because they maybe don't want to be online, you know, they don't know the keywords, they don't know enough English or the language, they don't know all the systems, because it's a big wheel. We're just talking about acquiring the product. We haven't even touched on shipping, cleaning, fixing, none of that. The other big giveaway that I had from him was the relationships. I know I have mentioned it a few times, but the relationships, I want to expand a little bit on that. So your picker, your guy, basically knew absolutely everyone inside those bins. Not only he was picking stuff for you, but he was also sometimes, if he felt that the rotation was bad, he will use his knowledge and his knowledge of the market that other people will have. For example, the video game guy, the shoe guy, the lady that sends clothes back to her country and she only needs lightweight stuff and kid stuff, you know. So he will use, in determined times, he will use that he will pick those items and then use that as a leverage with them and then trade things for them. So he will satisfy those other marketplaces that are not his ones, but he knows that there is something for him. Now, is it going to be money? Not all the time it's going to be money. It's going to simply be a trade for example, a kid's colorful dress that's going to suit someone in those hot countries. And in exchange, it might be a Lululemon jacket that obviously the American market values more and will pay for it. So those relationships for me were very important. In other words, what we can say is what you've always said, which is sell your item and know that you've sold the item before buying it, you know? And in his case, he knows that he can buy kids' clothes and he knows that they sold straight away because he has the lady already ready for them. I'm just going to touch on, do you want to say something?
No, we'll talk after all of these.
Okay.
These are really good.
Then after the beans, he was very kind enough to invite me for lunch. I discovered what Wawa was.
Wawa,
on the gas station. Yeah, that was very nice. And then we went straight back to his house to start round 2 of the process, which is, once again, the way the whole house and the whole operation is set up is like a full circle where the items come through door A and they will leave through door B. In all of that process, there are going to be different stages. So he will open every single bag, not ripping, opening, because he knows that he needs to reuse that bag in order to deliver those bags for you. Once again, it's those little details that are going to save him buying those bags later on. So he will inspect all the items once again. I've never seen ever in my life someone so picky, whether he's a little stain on the collar, a little bit of the black that's been faded, everything that you guys can imagine, a little hole. So he will know, he will have the pile where everything is ready, so folded for him to send to you. Then he will have a pile where it needs a wash, and then he will have a pile where something needs attention, such as reviving the color of the blacks. For example, sometimes they faded, so he will bring pure black back into the items in the garments. He will stitch things up. He will just unbubble everything. But whenever a piece of clothes goes to you, that needs to be absolutely presentable. It's basically, the idea is for you to unfold it, put it on your flat lay, take a picture, and it's ready to go. No time wasting for you, straight away. And the level of dedication and the level of accuracy and perfection is just something that me personally, I've never seen in my life. As I know you talk a lot about you wanting to be the best seller in the world, which you have been for so long, but in his case, it felt like he wanted to be the best picker in the world. And that for him was totally fine. I was privileged to see the fruit of the results and the fruit of his hard work for 5 years that he's been in this country. And that just blew my mind. He's got beautiful family. He's got few cars, beautiful cars. He's got beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood. His kid goes to private college. It just blew my mind to think that someone that just by having a good relationship with you, by looking after you, by being loyal to you, throughout all of these years, it might have started with 1 piece or 2 pieces of clothes, because that's literally what he told me. He told me your entire story. To see him all the way now where he is, it's impressive. And what he wants, because he still wants to grow and still wants to do more, you know? Yeah, that's
all right. So, like you said, he told the entire story. This is a little bit funny. When they first got into the car, as soon as I closed the door, I said, because the guy knows my real name, you only knew me as Tech.
Yes.
So the guy was referring to another guy, you were referring to another guy, and then a few minutes, like a half hour later, you're like, mate, who are you talking to?
Literally. Because one thing to be clear, he knows that he's out there, but he doesn't want to know anything about it. He just completely separates who you are as an online person to the guy that deals and goes and buys clothes. He knows you're out there, but he respects that, and that's none of his business.
And same way.
Yeah.
It's business. Yeah. How you doing? This and that. So when I first met him, like you said, I bought a Vineyard Vines hat and a polo hat. That was my first introduction to meeting him. And then, you know, he would have a couple bits and pieces at the flea market. And then one day I asked him the magical sentences, you know, do you have more clothes? And everything changed after that. And you know, a lot of people, they talk about like they want to get somebody who is a picker. They want someone to have at the bin sourcing for you, this and that. As far as like what you could see, like the relationship, because I know for a fact, people have tried to steal him. People have tried to pay more money than me. What is his philosophy, or how does he look at that?
So I was surprised enough, because I did ask the question and he was kind enough to reply to it. And he did say that indeed he had other offers and other people coming around. But for him, his way of seeing things was, yes, someone might give him $2, $3, $4, $5 more for the shirts or for whatever he's selling. However, how long is that going to last? How many times can they do that? You know? He said that, for instance, he had another experience prior to meeting you, you know, with somebody else. And I think when he sold a lot of clothes, the guy paid him 3 times. So in 3 different transactions. So that is just little details that just add up for him to feel very comfortable with you. His philosophy is always the long term.
Yes.
Nothing is going to come short term. Everything's long term. So he knows that. Could he get more for some stuff? I don't know, maybe, who knows, you know? But for him, it doesn't matter, because what he's done so far and the things that you're going to give him and he's going to earn with you, it's priceless. He's not going to find it anywhere else.
So like for him, he had the relationships all around the bins, and we're getting forward a little bit. When we go to the flea market, the people that we've met, even today we went to the flea market, I didn't hit a home run from the vendors, but I had the guy who we met in the parking lot, and then the guy who we did the last deal with, the large deal. If I didn't have those 2 people, it was kind of just, you know, an average day, but those 2 people turned it into an average day, and the relationships are absolutely key. So I remember when you came home after you were with him, and, you know, you were totally mind blown, and the trust, I told you, I said, hey, this is how I pay him. And what is it?
That was crazy. It was a blank check.
I pay him with a blank check every single week, because that's how much trust I have him. But you kind of do that because if someone's going to get you, you let them get you.
Yes.
That way they don't get you slowly, and you don't notice. So every now and then I'll throw a blank check just to make sure everybody is honest. Because I would rather know than you to take a little cut out of me every single week and never know.
Absolutely.
So his count is always perfect. The merchandise is perfect. Can you speak a little bit to how they know about the merchandise, how they know? Absolutely.
So on my way back, when the day was done and I was getting dropped back to your house, I spoke to him, and I said to him, oh, like, how do you learn so many brands? Because these guys, you need to understand, for people viewing, these guys are probably months or years ahead of some of the resellers. And the way they did it was, for them, social media is none of looking at some time wasted, you know, wasting time on social media or anything. They basically go and follow every single brand that they know on their Rolodex. And then they start a deep dive to see who follows their brands, to see what recommended brands there is, to see what's trending, who's promoting. Because obviously, new upcoming brands, they need to promote all of these listings, and all of a sudden they start coming up, and then they probably gave me 2 or 3 brands. I don't know if we'll talk later. 2 or 3 brands that we saw at the forefront of every single shop in Disney.
Yep.
Pushing big players like Nike
out of
the way to the back.
That's right. And he's known about those brands for 6 to 8 months. So, all right, so that was day 2. It was a long day. And that's another one of your takeaways, that all of the days are very long, because that seems like it was a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was a month.
And people probably won't believe that you can do all of these things in one day. And trust me, you still have time after it to, I mean, we played a lot.
Baseball,
so football.
This was his first time playing baseball. And in the group, I tell people, like, me and my son, we play baseball in the house. Yeah. And before he came, he goes, "Mate, you live in a castle?"
Yeah. I didn't know it was indoors.
Yeah. So we play inside, and in the front portion of my house, we have the very high ceiling. Yeah. We have a little ball, a little bat. We have the cardboard box for the strike zone. That was your first. Yeah. What do you think about baseball?
I think it's a great sport. I think obviously is a sport that is not as shown out there. Like, it doesn't have the media, not the media coverage, not the word, sorry. It's more like the exposure. I think it's not, every sport has now done Netflix stuff and everything, but I think it's a very complex sport. That's it. It is very difficult. I think what really impressed me was the fact that you showed me the whole video explaining. I think you have a fraction of a millisecond to take a decision if you want to bat or not, go for it or just let it go. And that impressed me a lot.
And then after that, like you said, even though the day is jam-packed, we're not rushing. It's just a schedule. It's coordinated one after another. Everything gets done in the proper manner, the proper order, the proper sequence. Never rushing. Never. Maybe sometimes moving double time. I said that a couple times. Okay, double time, or I say in and out. But still have time to do everything. He spent a lot of time with my son, and I want to say thank you for that. Like, you spent a lot of time with him, and you talk to my son and you ask him, you say, "Hey, did your dad really go to all the games?" Yeah. Every single one. Did he really go to, those goofy assemblies that didn't matter in 3rd grade? Yeah. Absolutely. Every single
time. We shared a lot due to sports. We both played some good level sport. I know he's very good, but
and the music. You guys like to sing music.
Yeah. By the way, UK folks out there, he knows his stuff, so don't be disappointed because he knows everything. Yep. But no, in all honesty, he was he's first of all a great guy. But I did ask him, I was like, so did your dad used to come to all the practices and everything from throughout all the years of you playing? And he said, absolutely, hasn't missed a single practice, hasn't missed a single game, traveled anything. And you've always had time to, do your eBay and whatever was going on. Yep.
And, it's not busy. It's just everything is with a purpose. Yeah. So, like, if we have to do something, we do it with a purpose. We don't do anything half-assed. We don't do anything lollipop. It's with a purpose. It's with an urgency. And if you're not going to do that, why do it at all? Like, if you came over here, we could have did, lollipop everything. But that's not what you wanted to do. And credit to you, before you came, you said, "Hey, don't take it easy on me. I can sleep when I go back home."
Absolutely.
And sure, the day's been a little bit long. Sometimes we get 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours, 6 hours, but you're not tired. We've this is the first time literally we've sat down. Like, literally, like, not a joke.
I know.
The first time we have sat down since we met a week ago.
I mean, yesterday, I think after doing the whole day and everything, you said to me, I think it was 11:30. And you said, "It's the first time I'm sitting down right now." I was like, "Yeah, it's true. It's the first time we sat down."
And it's fine. It's okay. So, all right. So that was day 2. He also showed us his soccer skills. Very, very talented on soccer. It was fun. We set up little bins. We had a little ball. We were playing inside, and it was good. It was me and my son versus Arwen. Yeah. We did beat him by 4 goals, but it was 2v1. 1v1. We don't stand a chance.
That was funny. That was very nice.
But you see, no plan. I know. But 0 to 100.
I know. And this is one of the things I realized with you since being here is all the days are packed, but most importantly, every single day is organized. Every single day is being double checked and triple checked. And one thing that really impressed me was, and maybe we can touch a little bit later if you prefer, but it was the fact that if something went sideways, or if it was like, let's just say traffic on the road or something, automatically with you recalculated the whole plan and then find a way to fill 34 minutes,
Sure.
27 minutes,
Yeah.
whether it's a gas station, whether it's more water, whether it's stop at a Goodwill, just
Right.
something. Nothing is ever sitting like this, watching the sky and the time passing. There's just always something going on. In my case, that I was privileged to be behind you, you know, and just watch what you was doing. It was like replying to comments, replying to Facebook comments, your YouTube ones, social media, your Insta messages, doing your listings. Because yes, guys, don't forget one thing. This guy on the road, he was doing his listings every single day. Like, obviously, I know he's not surprised, but it surprised me the fact that there's no days off for you. Like, is something you know is going to take you 20, 25 minutes or even less, because I know you have slow internet, but it was just, it has to be done. There's just
right.
like no negotiation. Did you not do them in the morning? Perfect. There's some times where we used to come back from the parks and like you used to hit them at what, 11, half 11?
Yeah,
but
everyone is asleep.
Yeah.
Everyone is done. I'm hitting the listings and hitting the questions. And it's just as easy to go, I'm just going to go to sleep, catch it tomorrow. Now you say knocking out questions, knocking out comments, knocking out, but you also say how you were shocked at how little I'm on the phone.
Oh, wow. I can count with my one hand the amount of times I've seen you pull out the phone and either be interrupted by a call. Let me just say one thing. How we have our calls that are just going to waste time and they're going to go down, you know, a 2-hour chat. The times where your phone calls is because something important is going on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, doesn't ring. And in this case, it was either, I think a few people called you, but besides that,
deals. For deals for this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. But besides that, nothing else.
All right, very good. So day 2, hanging out with the sourcer.
Yeah.
He asked me probably 6 times before you came. You sure you want me to show him everything? Are you sure? Are you sure? Is there something you don't want to show? And he said, the entire process, he want to see everything? I said, everything. And I'm really glad that he did, because it's not only the knowledge and he can spot Lululemon from a mile away. He can spot Peter Millar.
Yeah.
He knows the patterns. He knows what the material looks like. And the bins portion it wasn't the important part. It was the process portion. The process portion was important. All right, day 3.
Can I just add one more thing?
Please.
Sorry, what do you call that? It was what really impressed me was, even though he was the number 1, he was struggling to find product, and he's currently struggling.
Right now,
very tough. You know, he warned me. He said, "I've never seen the bins like this." There was probably 60, 65 people out there for what, 9, 12 bins. You know, it was just a free for all. Now, what I want to add to that is, even the greatest, even the best, they struggle. Like, we don't need to think that it's because we are small players and small sellers that it's normal that we don't find stuff. No, everyone is out there struggling. Now, what was the difference with him is I saw him on Tuesday. By Friday, he had a new plan to go out of his way, to go 3-4 hours away from where he sources normally, and try to find just a new way to acquire more inventory. And that was amazing, because some people would just complain about it. They will just reduce their listings because they can't find enough stuff, instead of saying the stuff is out there. Maybe it's not 5 minutes from me. Maybe it's not 10 minutes. But in this case, he was traveling 3 to 4 to 5 hours.
That's right. And in addition, he has the nephew.
Yes.
And I don't know if they're going to watch this. Maybe they might, because you're on it. We have to give props, shout out to the nephew. He's a beast.
Yeah. I called him the silent assassin, because he probably said a handful of words. But let me tell you one thing. Every single time I was seeing his shoulder, every single time you could see the little reflective Lululemon tag, and he was just on it all the time. So extremely knowledgeable, very quiet, very shy, but one of them people that just get everything, all the information. And this guy has learned every single brand that your main guy knows in probably a record time than anyone else.
And like you said, right now for the last month, so they changed something at the bins and he's having a hard time. But he doesn't stop.
No.
Because he has his life, he has his bills. He knows that, hey, you know, I got to do my best for this guy. So, you know, it's just not throw your hands up and say, we just can't do it. If there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
All right, day 3.
So day 3, finally I got to visit the famous warehouse. For me, it was a very special day, because obviously I've seen it so many times online. But besides that, the most amazing thing was, so to put them in context, we arrived at the warehouse, and I take my time to just come off the car. Yeah, so I'm undoing my belt, this and that, and I promise you guys, that was probably 25 seconds, 30 seconds. By the time of 30 seconds, your son had opened every single door that was meant to be open to go and acquire the stock that we had to put in a big pallet, because we had to ship a big pallet. You and your son were already carrying the pallet tray to put on the floor.
That's right.
By that time, your wife was already taking the box, the cardboard box, to put it outside. And this is all in the space. I know they're going to think that I'm exaggerating. This was all in the space of like 45 seconds. By the time I was by the packing zone, your wife had the box upside down to start taping all the bottom of the box and start filling up with all the clothes. So basically, I joined in the chain just to take the bags on my shoulders and just to put them in. Once again, everything that you do has a why. So the bags had to be put inside in a certain place, in a certain way. Why? Because you want to fit the maximum you can, right. You know? Yep. So that really impressed me. Let me just hold this.
And the timing and the cadence is like a dance. By the time the pallet was on the ground, the box was made. And by the time the box was made, we were putting the first bags right into it. No waste of time.
By the time, so to finish the whole process, by the time we were putting all the bags, the clear fill bag, the wrapping was already out, ready by the box for someone to grab it and start doing and packing everything. And then by the time you felt that it was probably one or two, the last two circles or the wraps, you already had your shipping information paper just to put there, a last wrap, and that was ready to go. That probably took, I don't know how heavy that is in pounds, but
about 800 pounds.
800 pounds in less than 10 minutes, probably.
Easily. We packed it. We made the pallet, packed the pallet less than 10 minutes. Absolutely. Yep.
So after that, all bags were replaced. The pallet was wrapped shortly. Guy has been in the game. All right. So then we went to Sinbad.
Okay. So after that, we went to a guy who I have been doing business with at the flea market for about 10 years. I always buy hats from him, buy some shirts for him. And he told us to come by this week. And we went over there. We went into the warehouse, massive warehouse, hats all the way to the roof. You saw your first sports specialties, and he had a whole line of them.
Dead stock. He had like a whole dead stock box over there.
Yeah. So we went down to see him. It was kind of like a private pick. We went to the warehouse, picked out some dead stock. What was how was that? And I guess what was that like? What were the takeaways over there?
So first of all, amazing guy, a guy that has known his stuff. He's been in the game for many, many, many years. Having none of it, he knows. You can tell what those kind of guys are no jokers. You know, they hear they want what they want, and then that's it. So now, big takeaway for me was what he mentioned about the flea markets. So this guy has connections to probably the entire of the United States. He ships to absolutely all around the world. Doesn't need to go to any local flea market. I can guarantee you that. You know? Yet the guy clearly said that the only reason that he goes to the flea market is to basically find people like you, to go and network and to go and find buyers. Because yes, we all want to go and get sellers, but sellers also need buyers.
That's right.
So he was going out there with his son. Also, he added that he liked the food around the flea market. So it was a good excuse. It was a good excuse for him to be out there. But yeah, the way he said it, you know, I go out there, you know, for the relationships. And I was like, wow, that was the biggest one. Also, one thing that I like to say is, obviously you went there for caps, but the first caps were probably, I don't know, out of all of the ones that you picked, probably not the best ones. And the reason why you got to pick more was because you simply ask, what else you have? You know? Exactly. And then from there, probably 5 minutes later, Tech was up the ladders on the roof of the buildings, just trying to
picking out beautiful ones.
Yes. Yeah.
And 5 minutes after that, you ask, what else do you have? And what happens?
More was coming. Oh, so do you want this? Oh, you into this? Okay, so then related to that, there is that as well.
And then we ask, what do you have? And what happens?
I think after that was the...
He goes, wait, you sell shoes?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And then what happens? Showing pallets of polkas.
Thousands, yes.
And then you made the contact. He sent the name, you got
Yeah.
the WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and
Thank you for that.
he says, hey, if you want a container, I can send
Yeah.
it, but if you can't take a container, we
Yeah.
can send 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and just as a trial. So you just have to ask, what else do you have? What else do you have? What else do you have? And this guy had hats, shirts, all licensed, autograph memorabilia, and then the shoes. And it's just, a lot of times it's about making a relationship, knowing the right person, and maybe you start off with a pallet, maybe you grow to half of a truck, and then maybe you grow to a full container down the line, and that's only what it's about.
What I really liked about you when you went to visit and you was actually dealing to acquire the product is he was saying to you prices. Not once you ever checked your phone. You knew exactly the resale, the market value of every single one of the hats that you was buying. And on top of that, I really like the fact that yes, you might be paying a little bit more for some of them because you knew it deep down, yet you always trying to give as much as you could, There was probably one of them where you said, no, sorry, you literally passed on, I don't know how many items that he offered you because the price went there, the sell-through went there, whatever reasons that you only knew because your decisions are like in a fraction of a second.
Sure. And, would I like everything for $1?
Of course.
Sure. But, did he want $1 or $2 more than I'm accustomed to? I have the margin. It's okay. But everybody has to make money. He has costs. He had 2 workers there. He has a warehouse. He has overhead. He has a carrying cost. This guy's dealing with truckloads. Everybody has to make money. If I'm spending $2 more, it's okay. That's life. So, all right. So after we saw him, we went to the brick and mortar store. And we saw Eric. My guy Eric over there. Shout out to Eric. Eric will watch us. He likes it. Eric's a good guy. How did you like the store? What was your takeaway from the store?
I really like the way that it was organized. Me personally, I like the way it was done. It was a lot of little nuggets in the shelf that if you go there, you need to go and look at. I don't know. Eventually, I think you had OG Jordan boxes from back in the days. You had. Little signs hidden inside in the shelves,
like a little Pokemon,
or
something
Pokemon
from the
games.
90s.
Exactly, that stuff I really liked. I also like the way that it was organized. So obviously you had some stuff on the walls. All of the walls were like your grails. I did ask the question. I said, for how many of these t-shirts, bread and butter t-shirts, you need to sell for one of these to sell. And then Eric was actually the first one to reply. He said, bro, you can't imagine, you rarely sell one of these.
It's tough. You probably sell 1,000 to one, but that's the game. There's more people struggling with money than there are with disposable income, but you have to have that stuff to act as a billboard to bring those people in. You saw your first Fruit of the Loom tag. You saw your first giant tag in person, and we go through all those on the calls.
First one I ever saw.
First Rapsy, that's right. We were going through Liquid Blue.
Liquid Blue, beautiful one. Grateful Dead,
Yep. And those are all the stuff you see on YouTube. You see on the morning calls.
Mosquito Head, you can't forget that one.
That's right. You saw the Mosquito Head. So we went over there. We had a good time. We looked at the shoes a little bit. We went through a little bit of the pricing philosophy. I showed you why I got the place because it was set up between the school and the McDonald's. So that was fun. And then after that, we went to the warehouse for like a warehouse tour because when we first went to the warehouse, I had to ship a pallet at, and then we headed down to Miami, which you can speak also. We're not afraid to drive.
Oh, no. No.
Not afraid to drive.
No. We probably filled the car, since I've been here, and it's a big tank. So I must say that, twice already? Twice? 2.5?
Sure. So we went to Miami to pick you up back home, an hour. Went to Miami to see this guy, an hour. Went to Miami the next day, an hour. And then we drove 3 hours up here. And then 45 minutes to the flea market. You got to do what you got to do. If it was across the street,
everyone would be doing it. Exactly.
It would be beautiful. But unfortunately, it's not across the street. You can't be afraid to get out on the road. Just like you can't be afraid to fly across the pond. It's a once in a lifetime. The trip, the experience will pay off, no doubt. But you have to get out of your bed. You have to get off of your couch, and you got to make something happen. And there were times where maybe we had a couple minutes of dead space, and I say, we got to get up. We got to make something happen. And you just got to make something happen. And the luckiest people make the most happen every single time. So, all right. So we went to the warehouse. I know you've seen it on the videos. You've seen everything. And this is a great YouTube comment. I don't know who wrote it, but somebody said, it's really amazing that the #1 seller in the entire world's whole business is built on cardboard boxes and tubing.
Literally.
And that's what it is.
There's no clearer definition than that. I think for me, I've just seen it so many times. It was at first shocking to see what it was, what it looked like, to see your racks, you know when you always said that you had a Milo racks.
Yeah. People
think that is actually not. It's actually the over there is insane.
Yeah.
A good thing that I liked from your warehouse and from the provider of that we went for the hats as well. Your contact is it feels like the bigger the business is and the more people have the more SKUs that they have, the more quantity basically they have, the less room for. Like there's nothing misplaced anywhere.
Sure.
Like everything is organized.
Sure.
And I didn't see I don't know how many you have, like 10,000 t-shirts out there still?
I still have about 10,000 left.
Not
down
a single
from 50,
one on the floor.
Yeah, not a single one even hanging off the hanger.
Literally, no. All of them facing the same way.
That's right.
Pure like organization. Hangers had to be in this side. Yep. This side is for that side. Everything is just like maximized, and that really shocked me because I'm the first one that I tend to just. I don't know what to do with something, gets in the pile. But guess what? That pile just go up, and that's never touched.
Any piles?
Never. Not a single one.
No.
Even I must say one thing. Your stack pile that stayed there since you closed the operation was still perfect to just take an item, put it on the flat leg.
We did it.
Yeah. And then
So the first time you did it was 58 seconds. I gave you a couple pointers. You got it under 38 seconds.
Yeah.
Not a clothing seller. So it's not me.
No,
it's
the
true. Process.
It's true.
It's the process. Yeah. And if you worked for me for 1 week, you would be 30 seconds or less.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All the stations exactly the same.
Exactly. Copy and paste.
Yeah. Photo station desk, photo station desk, photo station desk. What else from the warehouse, if anything else?
One thing that I really liked was there was no distractions. I know I heard someone say it one time when they went to your warehouse and they said like there was nothing to be distracted with. And every single instruction on the walls, is like, it feels like whenever someone doesn't know what to do or everything is on the walls.
It's right there.
Yeah, like there's no question asked, but it was there wasn't a million rules to do. No. It's literally whatever is the minimum, but it's the essential. Sure. That's what I want to say. It's just the essential was there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And even on the packing table, I don't know if you noticed, there's instructions written on the table. Yeah. On the table for everything that we have to do. So
can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
I like that everything in your warehouse had a purpose. So I'll just give a little example. I asked you, I said, hey Tech, are these hangers, did you buy these hangers on purpose or are these just because they're the cheapest? And you literally you put your finger like this and then you went with a hanger like that and then the hanger just literally clipped straight away. And you said, you know why that is? We just put the hanger once and then whatever way it will be, it will always face the proper way.
That's right.
Because obviously, once again, we speak of seconds and the compound effect. Turning every single one of the hangers every single time you had one, that will probably cost you months, if not years of operation,
That's right. And we went over it in the car. I don't know if it was on the video, but when I invented the ruler, I was saving 30 seconds per item.
Yeah.
Times 250, that's 120 minutes a day. That's 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
14 hours a week. It ended up being 30 days, 24-hour days.
Yeah, 30 full days.
30 full days a year.
Yeah.
I was spending 30 seconds at a time just measuring. Yeah. So for the hanger, it has the swivel top rather than a fixed top. If it had a fixed top, we would always have to go, okay, which one is the front, which one is the back, put it on. With the swivel top, you just put it on, even if it's like this, clicks right on.
Literally, yeah.
So yeah, everything has a thought behind it. Nothing is just done on accident.
Yeah.
There's no luck, any of that there. So after we went to the warehouse, did we go to Chick-fil-A?
No, not that day. I think we went to another restaurant.
That's right.
But I just wanted to tell them that I got the chance to see your picker, not the picker, the postman guy.
That's right. That's
right.
Yeah.
And I got to see how everything was laid and the way everything was done for him to go so quick. So for me, what impressed me was there was the tray with all the packages. First of all, they were all facing up. I know you mentioned this in your very first video.
Did you notice they were at a comfortable level and he didn't bend over to the floor?
Yeah. They were raised.
That's right.
They were raised. And then I liked how you lay them in a way where he can just scan instead of one by one, scan 6 in a time, put 6 inside, and then 6 and go in the same way.
That's right.
The also big giveaway that I saw, whether it's the pallet guy that came to pick up or these or the postman, was you gave water and a little some like in this case, you gave water to absolutely everyone. You know,
Everyone, yeah.
it's a little something, a little extra, but they will always, I feel like they will always make sure to do the work properly for you the day where you will have a very busy, or they won't complain when it's very busy, because you've always looked after them.
Water, and I also talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Generally, how's everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Always. And for the postman,
I know.
His mom just passed away. And, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, just express the sympathy. But, you know, how often do people go about their days and don't even care to ask somebody how they're doing? And for me, always, especially with the relationships, how are you doing? You know, if there's something that you need from me or something that I can do. And ice cold water in Florida goes a long way, my friend. So after that, we went out to eat at just a regular American place.
Yeah, American place.
Portions.
Oh my God. Portions in the US. I've never seen something like that. I'm a big eater, so I can eat a lot. And trust me, I just can't finish it. I just don't understand how you eat, whether it's the drinks. Every single time we saw drinks, your standard sizes are always double. Everyone ordering for something, the question isn't even asked. You could just do large for everything. Everyone just goes to the largest, the biggest every single time, you know?
Today when we ate, I got a Sprite. I drank this much of my Sprite. There was already a new one on the table.
Yeah, literally a separate glass, not even top up, just a separate glass. No, that was very good. And then after that, I visited my first ever Goodwill, you know?
That's right.
It was late already. It was like, 6
o'clock?
Yeah, 6 o'clock. And still, I don't know how many items you found. I don't know how it was, like 20 items
at least
maybe?
One of them was between 50 and 70.
Yeah. The Ryan's, can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Ryan Spooner.
Ryan Spooner with the Corvettes on it. Yeah. Just sitting there. We weren't the first ones to see it.
No, absolutely
not. What about the shoe section? That was a typical Goodwill in South Florida. They're all kind of like that. They had 2 shelves about 4 feet.
Yeah.
5 tiers.
Yeah, and double-sided. So
double-sided. 4 shoes to a shelf.
Yeah, probably 4 to 5 a little bit.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely way more volume than in the UK, but I was expecting also way more, you know?
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed.
Yes. Some of them have a little bit bigger, but that's typical. That would be a typical Goodwill. What about the price?
I mean, price was high in some pairs. I think they do know what they're doing. So I think, could someone build a beautiful business on going only to Goodwill? Absolutely, of course. But it also made me realize, because by then I had done the bins and the thrift.
That's right.
I realized straight away that the best thing that someone could do is play the average game. And yes, you could pay up for a very good pair, because there were still great pairs there. A bit too much, I had to take it all with me back to the UK, so I couldn't. But was there money that we left there? Absolutely, there was loads.
They had a pair of Vapor Max for 30.
Yeah.
There's money to be made there.
100%.
You're not going to lose money. Is it a home run?
Yeah.
No, but is the sell-through going to be decent?
Exactly.
You can double your money or make $20? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we went to Goodwill. We cleaned up over there.
Yeah.
And then was the next day...
So the next day was Lake Worth. So it was my first ever flea market.
Thursday, we woke up at 5:30.
Yeah.
Left the house at 6.
Yeah.
Got to the flea market at 7. It was a lighter day. Usually that flea market I go to on Saturday. So it was about 40% full.
Yeah.
But for you've never seen a flea market that size. But it was, I don't know what, 50 vendors?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, around that. Yeah, I would say so.
And usually there's probably 100, something like that. But talk about it. How'd you do?
So I really liked, obviously, for me, everything was new. So I was very excited to see what it looked like. I wanted to see all of those stables that I was always seeing back on YouTube, you know, on your videos and everything. These might disappoint a lot of people. Let me tell you one thing, is exactly the same structure and the same concept as what we have in the UK and probably all around the world.
Sure.
There's no magic added. There's nothing at all. Now, are vendors different than our ones back home? Yes. Why? Because I quickly realized how many familiar faces that I had seen on Tuesday I was seeing back then. So do people buy and resell there? Yeah. Does that also mean for us that there is specialist buyers and professional buyers that know exactly what we need and that we could create a beautiful relationship with them? Absolutely. It took me one day of seeing that a man at the bins. Obviously, I'm going to be honest, is also thanks to you, because he knew that I was with you, and to your picker, he knew that I was with him as well. So
I'll paint the picture. The guy who you see on the videos, who I buy the Lululemon and the Lily Pulitzer from, also goes to the bins that you went to.
Yeah.
And he had, how did you see the shoes in the first place?
So when they were coming in with the car, I spotted Skechers performance bag, and I told you straight away there's Skechers on the tote of that bag of the car, and then we just waited for them to.
No, back up to the bins.
Oh, back up.
How did you see he had those shoes at the bins?
Oh,
because we talked about them briefly. Right? I already showed the clip of the golf shoes.
Okay.
Because got those.
Yeah.
So how did you see them at the bins?
So, well, first of all, your picker knows them. So I saw him talking. Now, I saw him. He basically beat me to all the shoes. So the shoes, I had seen them already in the bins, you know.
Gotcha.
But then when he was double checking at the back of the bins, I saw all of those bags piling up. Now, I was furious. I'm going to be honest. I was furious because, you know, they were very good pairs. But what happened at the bins was that your picker was kind enough to go to him, because he's once again built that relationship with him, and said, listen, these guys looking for shoes. And I promise you guys, in one of the rotations that we were waiting for the new bins, magically, a box of shoes appeared just next to the cart. And inside that box, there was 3 or 4 golf shoes, there was a pair of trainers, there was a few other shoes, but all of them were amazing. For instance, if you seen the clip, there was probably 2 or 3 pairs of a player issue Matt Fitzpatrick, so the PGA Tour professional golf player, and there were all his shoes. They were there. So
the next day we go to the flea market, and you have a good eye, and when we went there, I say you lose. Go for it. We didn't draw a map. We didn't draw a game plan. Hey, do your thing. You saw inside of the car the bag. And you said, I got to check on that one. And we walked past a couple times. They never came out. And one time they were sitting in a tote, and you asked the price. And she said, hold on, I have to wait for the other guy. And who do we see? We see the guy from the bins. So you go over there. You did a deal in Spanish, in French, and in English. And you ended up doing the deal. What did you get, like 6 pairs?
No, I think I got like 12 pairs.
From them?
Yeah, 12 pairs or more of once again, the player issue golf shoes. So those ones there, I was so happy, because that would probably pay for the entire trip. But that was thanks to that relationship that obviously you've built, that your picker has built.
All right. So the flea market, at that flea market specifically, tons of Hokas, tons of Enclaves, more than you've ever seen in your life.
I said that to you. I said, they might be in better or worse shape, maybe, but they were there. They were out there.
They were there.
Yeah.
I also asked you, like, is it shocking the amount of shoes? Like, every vendor has shoes.
Absolutely.
Table full of shoes, couple of shoes, a line of shoes. And it's not like that as much in the UK?
No, I think it's more like private sellers, let's say, like someone that would just go and clear their wardrobe. The good thing that what I really liked in that flea market, and the flea markets in general, is that people actually believe that they can make a good money by reselling. Like, they're not always looking for the final price and the final customer. So people know that there is a market of resellers and a market of other people that are just looking for those shoes.
Sure.
And they're more than happy to just go at the bins, get them, and then just resell them. Now, don't get me wrong, they clean them, they stuff them, they present them in a good way, you know, and that adds a little bit of value for them to make a profit. But I, for example, heard you once. You said, for us, it's not uncommon to go to a vendor and probably get 100 pieces from them.
That's right.
And that was probably one of the first times that I went to a vendor at the flea market, and I got like 20 shoes. That's pretty much my day done with one vendor.
15 a day, right?
15 a day.
Sure. So you can imagine going to picking up hats or picking up shirts, 10 pieces, 20 pieces, 100 pieces here and there. So just the sheer volume and the sheer opportunity is That's a different question. The volume is different.
Yeah.
Is the opportunity different?
No, I think the opportunities are there for us. What we spoke about this in the car, which is basically, can I get 100 pairs from one vendor? Yes, absolutely. Is it going to take me 2 flea markets to go and get the pairs in London? Yes, but the 100 pairs are possible to acquire in England as well.
So the opportunity is still there. Just the sheer volume of one vendor is not going to have the 100 pairs.
And now we all need to put things in perspective. How long does it take for me to do 2 flea markets back home? Does it take me 30-minute drive? Because for you, it took you 4-hour drives to come all the way here.
That's
and
right.
Plus the interdrive between both of those 2 flea markets. So everything is added. Everything at the end is just, like you like to say, it's an average.
Sure, it's an average. And I've also explained a little bit about the United States taxes, and there's a lot of costs.
It's crazy.
And I'm sure it's like that everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. It's better and for worse. Things are expensive. Some places are cheap. Everywhere has its pros, its cons, its challenges, its advantages. But we just have to find our advantage and then just, totally exploit that as much as possible. So after the flea market, we went down to Miami to the #1 shoe seller of pre-owned in the entire world. Like, I tell people all the time in the group, I say, this guy has 1 million pairs of shoes.
Yeah. And you need to see it to believe it.
1 million pairs, right?
Yeah,
Without
easily.
Without a doubt. Like, the opening scene for Lion King where the sun rises and Mufasa goes, everything the sun touches is yours. That's what it looks like.
Everything that you see is shoes. That was basically the line there. Yeah.
And when you go on the second floor, it's just, look, they caught a bass over there. That's a bass.
Yeah.
Everything you see that the light touches is shoes.
It's shoes.
And the stuff you think is rare, you come to find out is not as rare.
Absolutely.
So we can't go into that as much.
Yeah.
But things that we think are rare, this guy might have 40,000, 20,000, 10,000, no problem. So go ahead.
No, I would just wanted to say, first of all, if you're watching the video, thank you very much, for the opportunity to come and visit your operation. It's a true honor. The guy dedicated, when I say his full time, not only time, but attention. He replied to every single one of my questions, not only on a superficial level, but deep down levels to giving me ideas on how to do things as well.
And it's one thing to okey doke someone.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was honest, straight to the, like, in depth, as much time as you need. There was no rush. Walked us through the entire process, even stuff like not to his benefit to say, no problem.
Especially for another shoe seller, I know that I'm extremely lucky and I am really grateful for this opportunity, but to ask him questions about my growth in my business and him guiding me towards, I wouldn't do this. Maybe try this. Maybe find out that way. I've done this. Don't do it that way. That for me is priceless. And the way, how humble he is with everything.
Yep, really good guy. What was surprising to you is that the mechanics are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. They just multiplied. That's the word. They just multiplied.
The mechanics are the same.
Yes.
Everything, even in his place, more or less, cardboard and tubing.
Yes.
Nothing special.
Yeah.
It's not to the same effect as mine.
Yeah.
But there's nothing special.
Yeah.
He literally made his own setup, made his own this, made his own that. It's all the same.
And I really liked what you said when you guys spoke, because everything looked a little bit different, or some things went eventually, designated to be. So the purpose of the item wasn't probably to eventually hold shoes,
Yeah.
But you said something that I really liked, which is there's no reseller depot there.
There's no like Home Depot. You go and fix your house.
Exactly.
There's no reseller depot. So you have to make stuff most times. You have to reconfigure stuff, turn something into something. Even the shoe cleaners have the toilet brush because maybe it has a longer handle to get into the shoe. You just have to, do your best. And it was also interesting that you were able to see all the culture that Florida has.
Oh, yeah.
And when we go down to Miami, this guy, white as me, perfect Spanish. Perfect Spanish.
And French.
Everybody loved him. Good to the people. And that's really important, man. And his entire process, A to Z, no problems. And we were talking about it last night, and you have a lot of really good ideas. because of that conversation. And I think that conversation alone, and I told him after, and I'll tell him again here, is that he just got back from a trip to New York City to close a huge deal. Like us talking about $20 profits. Yeah. This guy closed a humongous deal yesterday, like with a national chain, like a household name. Yeah. Just got back in yesterday, the day prior. We came in the morning. He's probably backed up, got a ton to do. Yeah. Didn't rush us, didn't do anything. And I told him, I said, hey, because I've taken 2 people there. I said, I appreciate you always taking the time out to do this for me. And I said that this changes people's lives, changes people's business. And humble as possible, don't worry about it. And I say, I if you need something, I owe you one. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So shout out to him. That was kind of like the precipice of the trip as a shoe seller, was to go and see the number one. Yeah. Luckily enough, I have the relationship. He's been in the group for a long time. Yeah. And a lot of the advice, what is the answer? Oh, just listen to this guy. Yeah. Because he built his business through the group. Oh, just listen. The philosophies that he follows are the same.
How many times he said, I asked a question, he said, pointing at you, he said it. He already gave you the answer on his calls.
So the biggest stores, my store, his store, is the same principles, the same philosophy as someone working out of their home, somebody just starting. It's the same thing. Like you said, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. All right. So after we left them, which was absolutely fantastic, just seeing the scale, just seeing the possibility. You talked about that, just opening up your eyes to like what is possible.
Yeah. And I feel for someone, like I've never been in contact with people like him, you know, and I feel like sometimes people, they don't even believe that it's possible to do something like that. At the end of the day, I'm sorry to, break it down for the people out there, but he's just a regular guy. You, him, the number ones, you literally guys sleep, eat, and work hard every single day. You know, like there is just no another secret at all. You know. No. But yeah, for me, for someone that looked, with like the horses, how they look like this and they can't see sideways, it was just to leave the house and said, wow, you can actually go and get all of that,
And what did he say? He started 9 shoes.
Yeah. And his uncle laughed at him, saying, 9 shoes you sold, don't even bother me with that.
I sent out 19 containers today.
Yes, literally.
And he built it in a relatively short time to what it is today. So after that, we came back about 45 minutes back home. We picked up my son. We went to Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, yes.
And I asked you some places you wanted to go to. What did you want to see before you came? Yeah. You said chicken fillet.
Chicken fillet, yeah.
But you said chicken fillet, and I knew what it was. So we went to Chick-fil-A. Tell me about the Chick-fil-A sauce.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I know I said it in the little clip, but it might be some controversial, but I think it's better than Nando's, guys. Ooh. I'm not lying to you. Yeah. I already want him. I know that he needs to come to Nando's and we'll see what level of spice he gets. Would it be, medium? Who knows? But I think it was better. It was very nice. To taste that, it was something in my bucket list, and once again, I can only say thank you for you taking me there.
And the owner was there. He gave you lemonade. You got to try the lemonade.
Free lemonade,
and he gave you a little gift, little Happy Meal toy to take home. Yeah. So that was fun. And then the next day we
headed Orlando.
No, we went to Orlando right after that.
Yeah, right after. Yeah.
So that day we woke up at 5. Yeah. We went to the flea market. Yeah. We went to Miami to see the sneaker seller. We went to Chick-fil-A, and then we went to Orlando. So that day we probably spent...
And then we visited Disney Springs.
We went to Disney Springs. Yeah. So that day alone, we probably drove 7 hours. And then when we got up here, we didn't rest. We went right over to Disney Springs. I like going to Disney Springs. I think it's fun. You liked it because you can see all the brands, all the clothes. And we went into the running store. Yeah. And you took notice that the Nike was in the back.
Yeah, that was shocking for me.
The Viore. Yeah. Varley was in the front. Yeah. Tracksmith was in the front. And Nike was like in a dark corner.
Literally.
So just the merchandising and the way that they do it. And before we went there, you go, oh, look, the little square.
Yeah. I think another good takeaway that I got from you is you train your eyes to see what you want to see. So if you're looking for, let's just say Lulu, in my case, when I first went into the bins, I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for it, but I didn't know what I was looking for. And all of a sudden you start touching the things, stretching them. And all of a sudden, guess what? By the round 2, I was the one also picking Lulu. You
That's
know?
right. That's right.
So
that's right.
it's what you train. So all of a sudden you see one brand, whether it's Lily, whether it's Lululemon, you know, and all of a sudden you just start seeing them everywhere, you know. But I would say a good thing is people might think that we just went there to waste time.
No.
Guys, I can promise you that is once again it's just more education. It's
That's
just
it, yeah.
how important it is to go to probably the only footwear store in all Disney Spring and to see that Nike is not at the front. We should ask ourselves questions.
Yeah.
You know, okay, well, hold up a second. What's at the front? Is it ASICS? Is it On Cloud? Is it Hawkers? You know, who's dominating the whole market?
That's right.
And that's the ways that we can just keep learning and being ahead of the curve.
That's right. And we went there with a purpose to touch the clothes, look at it just like I had in the other video.
Yeah.
But it's also fun. We had a great time. We had a blast. We ate a huge donut like this. You bought it for us. Thank you. A huge donut with Oreos on the top. Did we eat over there that night?
No, we had that. We only had that, and then we went back to the hotel.
So we did some brand research. We went into all the shops. You saw Lily Pulitzer.
Yes.
You
finally.
saw Fanatics. You saw all of Fabletics.
Yeah, I saw what your soccer shops look like as
That's
well.
Right. That's
they're very nice.
Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
The guy a couple doors down is a motorcycle mechanic. He had the Harley Davidson there. So the next day, shout out to Mike. He's in the group. He sent me a DM and he said they have a church sale. It was 38 minutes away. We woke up early, went to the church sale. How was that? That
was like we say an in and out.
In and out. The whole time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. In and
Probably in 15 minutes, we had, I don't know, you picked vintage, you picked Harley Davidson. We found a few Carhartt shorts.
Couple of pairs of shoes.
You know, and then by the time we left, which was 20 minutes there,
maybe
we were already on our way to sort of enjoy the day.
That's right. And I asked him a couple times. I say, who do you think won the church sale?
Us.
So today at the flea market, who do you think won the flea market?
Us. No questions asked.
That's the only way. So you go in, you get what you're looking for. You don't have to waste a bunch of time doing a bunch of stuff, checking, doing this, doing that.
That's the other thing that surprised me is how quick. Is how quickly you spot and how quickly you call it a day. How quickly you just know that you've done it because you've done enough laps. And then as soon as there's nothing else, you go and you just move on to the next thing, you know, because most of the people, and I am the first one that I've done that at the boot sales whenever I'm back in England, I stay around and you end up buying stuff that you know doesn't meet your metrics just because you want to add quantity, you know. Did we have the option to go to another Goodwill? Absolutely. There was one just around the corner. But in that case, you probably, you know, one of my dreams, and I think one of every kid's dreams, is to go once in a lifetime to Disney. I didn't know that, by the way.
He didn't
I had
know
no idea.
And we almost didn't go because we have the Disney pass, and so we usually come up here to go to the Orlando flea market, and then we go to Disney World just to waste time because it's free at this point just to go walk around, eat some Pecos Bill, eat some food, and then just do it all over again the next day. So when we come up here to Orlando, we always go to some kind of park, you know, ride a ride, walk around. I like to walk around. I like to see the infrastructure. I like to see everything that's going on. So you didn't know we were going to Disney World. And I had like a lot of second thoughts. I'm like, I don't know if this guy wants to go, but you know, you just kept saying, oh my God, just so much. I think it's really cool. I think it's fun. I think no matter what your age are, you still, everyone still has that inside of them. And I like going there just to see how perfect this is. I like the layout. There's no signs. Everybody knows what to do.
You love the operation as well, the behind of everything. Single thing.
Yeah, everything. So we went to Disney World and then we went to Epcot. So Disney World, we went on like the Buzz Lightyear. We went on Pirates, Haunted Mansion. We had Pecos Bill. Pecos Bill is the best. You can't tell me nothing. I like the nachos. And then after that, we went to Epcot, and you've traveled around a little bit. When we went to the London portion, you were like, when we walked out to the square, you said,
I said to you, if I took a picture and put it on my Insta right now and say I'm in London, people would actually believe it.
So funny. And then we had some food over there. We had fun. And then did we do anything that night?
That night we went to
which was like 2 days ago, but it's so hard to
no,
remember.
literally. I actually don't think so. I think we went straight to. We didn't go to Springs that day.
No, we saw the rocket launch.
Oh yeah.
We saw the rocket launch in Cape Canaveral, which was an hour and 10 minutes away. It got delayed 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But what do? We had a rock skip competition. We talk. They had the bioluminescence in the water
That was amazing.
when the sun went down.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes were out, so we went back in the car. It was raining off and on, so it got delayed. And I went back out there, and I came running back, and I said, "Get the camera! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!" And I don't know what you guys were thinking, but when the fish were jumping in the water, it was glowing.
Yeah.
So we were putting sticks in the water, and it was growing. And then when the rocket let off,
wow.
What about it?
He said one thing. We had this bet, and I said to him, I reckon, because we were, you mentioned we were 11 miles
10 or 11 miles away, but we had clear sight of the rocket.
Beautiful. And I said to you, there's no chance we can hear it. And you said, oh boy, let me tell you, you're going to hear it loud. But obviously you don't realize that with the miles, everything comes so much later. And all of a sudden it was like a crescendo of like sound and sound and sound.
The rocket was already
gone.
And I'm sitting here going, we can't hear nothing. Here I am, look like a fool. Because I've never been. When I was a little kid, I went when they had the space shuttle, but I've never been for the SpaceX. So like here I am telling this guy, oh, we're going to get blown away by this island. And this thing is miles in the sky. And I'm going, there's nothing. Arvin was right.
And you feel it coming.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. The whole night just lit up. The rocket went away.
Well, they'll probably see the clip, won't they?
Yeah, they'll see the clip. But like you've said several times, the camera doesn't capture it. A lot of stuff that we did, you're like, oh, the camera doesn't capture
Impossible.
it. So, all right. So we went to see the SpaceX launch. We came back to the hotel. And then Saturday,
we found out that Orlando was closed.
The Orlando flea market was closed this week and next week because they have a concert or a festival. And I clean up at the Orlando flea market, unfortunately, but we didn't get a chance to do it. So there wasn't really any garage sales popping off, no sales or anything. So that day we just spent at the parks. We went to Animal Kingdom. We went on the safari.
Oh, that was once again, I'm just trying to have the memories again. That was amazing, seeing the lion, literally, I said this to you many times. For some reason, they accomplish for you to enter those gates of those parks and think that you're completely somewhere else.
Somewhere, like you could close your eyes and you think you're in Africa.
No chance I'm in Florida.
Yeah. So the safari was great. We saw the elephants, we saw the lions, we saw
giraffes, zebras, crocodiles, hippos, everything.
Everything, it was really good. And then you went on the roller coaster with my wife on the Himalaya one.
Yeah, they'll have the clip of that one as well.
I didn't go. I was waiting down like a chicken. So we did the lap of that one. And then we went to Hollywood Studios where you guys did the Tower of Terror. So like when we talk about these rides, all of these guys know it. So the Tower of Terror, how was that one?
Oh, I wasn't expecting it to be, the drop down is huge, like you don't expect it. But once again, it's once in a lifetime that I think it's just memories that for me will be there, forever, whether it's on the phone or not. But as you like to say, that your eyes are the best cameras that you'll ever have.
I said that a couple times.
Everything is here. And
whenever we were taking pictures, I just go like, put it on the hard drive. And I just remember it forever. So after that, we went to Disney Springs again. We had the big pizza slices.
Yes, finally.
That was pretty good. And then
we saw the drone show.
We saw the drone show, which is brand new at Disney Springs. That was cool. Luckily, our hotel room has a perfect shot of the drone show right on the front. And then right to the left, maybe a mile away, we have the Epcot fireworks. And then a little bit down, we had the Disney World fireworks. So that was nice. And then this morning, we woke up early again, 5:30.
Yes.
We left at 6. We got to Plant City at 7. How'd that go?
I really like that one. I actually, you can tell straight away that was a different scenario than the one that we went back in the week next to your house, down in Miami. You can see that the products, once again, they are there. That's not the problem. But maybe the style of the products, whether it was for shoes, whether it was for clothes, because don't forget that he's also sourcing, and then you can see that on your trunk, there's less golf brands perhaps, and then there's more workwear. There's a little bit more of Harley Davidson, and all of those brands. But for me, for the shoes, it was perhaps like less hokers, less ons, you know, there was more classic brands such as Nike, Adidas, and so on. But guess what? There was so many. And then we spoke, they probably will see the clip, but when we did the recap, as Tech said, how many shoes did we left behind?
It hurt my heart. It hurt my heart where, you know, you're asking the price and I know like that's a buy, but you can't take everything with you. Unfortunately, you only have a limited amount of space, but you know, just seeing you know your stuff. You didn't even look at your phone once either anyways, to your credit. So this guy, what I liked about when you were going to the shoes, we would be rolling together and you see something, beeline right over there, get right on it. This guy feels the back, puts his hand inside, feels the tongue, looks for this, look at the tread, press the air bubble. How much? And you know, they say the price, you have limited space. Sometimes you were buying, sometimes maybe it was $3 or $5 more, and you're like, you know what, I'm running out of space here. But if you were in America, pay $5, who cares, pay $5. But just the expertise that you have as well, and also what like, you know what you get a premium for in your country, where like some of those New Balance over here, I don't think, like you were saying they were going to go for much higher. I think here maybe half the price.
I know,
but that's fine.
And vice versa. When I said to you that Birkenstocks, the sandals, you probably would get double that what I get back in the UK. So it's just always doing your research. You know, when it comes to soles, comps, everything. It's just you just need to know. You know who sell. Did you just fish that?
That was a osprey. He's about all the way up to your knee. He just dove into the water and grabbed a fish.
That's crazy.
He's flying around right now with the fish in his claws, and now he's gonna come over here and eat it over here by us. How about that?
That's crazy. I was like, wow. But so I think the research needs to be done before. You need to know your market. I think I do try. Don't get me wrong. Like if I have a question, I will always circle around, check on my phone. I'm not a fool neither to just be leaving all the profit.
Do you have this in the UK?
Ice cream, right?
Ice cream truck.
Yeah.
They go in the neighborhood.
The same little song.
Same song. Yeah. So you know your stuff. Props to that. You. There was no hand holding. There was no, hey, can you do me a favor and put in a good word? None of that. I didn't. You were your own guy. I was my own guy. When there was shoes and I don't know what I'm looking at, I try to say, hey, what about these? If there's Birkenstocks, I know those. A couple times I would ask you something and you would say no because of this. And then a couple times when there was clothes and no shoes, you would jump in. You found a North Face and you found a nice Echo sweater that we didn't show. The Echo sweater is probably worth 60 to 80. The North Face jacket is probably 30 or 40 bucks, and those were $1 each. And I missed the Echo, and you were over here and you got it, and you know that's the name of the game.
If I can say, when you said that I just dive straight onto certain things when I see shoes, I would like to say that for the clothes seller out there, or wherever your niche is, you come to a point of expertise that when you've dealt with so many items, you know, you just know exactly where to find the flaws. And I remember one of your calls, which was very good, is you exactly showed where are always the spots. For example, on shirts, is it missing buttons? How is the structure of the collar? How is the colors? You know, is it fading because you play golf and then the clothes are just faded due to the sun? So for me, it was literally the same. Were there good pairs around there? Yes. You know, a very good takeaway that I had for the guys out there, that I don't know if you'll put on the video. You had a basket of like full vintage shirts, basketball shirts, that got offered to you.
That's yeah.
You know,
there was a guy, he buys storage units. They were vintage champion with tags. Unfortunately, they were all signed. Shaquille O'Neal. There was a Michael Jordan. There was a Charles Barkley. And I think there was a Hakeem Olajuwon. He wanted 500, and then he said he'll take 400. If they were not signed, I would have bought them.
And you kept saying that. You kept saying, I wish these weren't signed. I wish these were. You said it like a few times.
And I even grabbed my wife to see, can we wash these signatures out? Because a dead stock Charles Barkley purple Phoenix Suns is worth more than one with a scribble where there's no COA on it. And my wife said we couldn't wash it, and I had to walk away. I couldn't do it. And that's something else that you bring up a lot, is that there's no emotion.
Oh no, that's what the point I wanted to say is, for me, I would look, or at least maybe prior to coming to this trip, I would try to convince myself that I can sell that product, that I can save the product, you know, that will get the washing out, that get the signature off, that would eventually, in my case, buy new insoles, buy new laces, you know, whatever it takes, glue.
Take too long to clean. Yeah.
And for you, it was like, you know your thing, you're not asking them to give them for free. Like you knew that was a good product, you know.
It has value to someone, but not to me in that condition.
And you passed.
Yeah, it's no problem. And I forgot about it until
I know, I can tell.
But with everything, with a decision, with an offer, my wife got a $1 offer.
Yeah.
It didn't ruin our day. We didn't have to post about it on Instagram. Yeah. She showed the $1 offer, and we got onto Buzz Lightyear, and
we kept going. Yeah,
it's no problem. That's life. There's so many things that happen, and we can't get emotional about it. It's black and white. It's by the numbers. Yeah. What's going to fill my bank account with the least amount of resistance? That's it.
That's another thing. Sorry to call you.
No problem.
That really shocked me from you is there's just no emotion when it comes to business, you know. I was very shocked, for example, with your picker. When I was speaking with him, it seemed like you guys didn't know each other. It seemed like you knew each other for the professional, but when it came to the personal, there was nothing there, you know. Then when it comes to we went to the provider from the hats. Were there great hats there? Absolutely, you probably could have bought them all, but you know that some things work for you, some stuff doesn't work for you, you know. It's just like every decision that you have is just calculated, you know. If it's not going to have a return on investment and it's not going to bring you money, why buy it?
Sure.
You know, to collect dust.
And you asked me about the relationship between me and the picker. We've known each other for 5 years.
Yeah.
I know about his family. He knows about my family.
Yeah.
We've never been out to dinner. We've never hung out as friends because that muddies the water.
Yes.
And what happens if I say, hey, how's business? How you doing?
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard and I'm struggling, and you know I want to ask you for more money per piece and this and that, or same for him. I'm making boatloads of money. Like. Then what do I say? Oh, I need to lower the price. In most instances, I would never say that, but you know, if he's doing fantastic, I take pride in that.
Yeah.
When we've had a lot of talks about this too, with you know, oh, thank you so much for helping. We don't have that conversation, but when you say you had great news this week, I take pride in that.
Yeah.
So that's this, like for my picker to go from where he has been to where he is, I take immense pride in that. And there has to be a separation. And if you want to be a friend, no problem. Yeah. But if you are going to hire a friend, you have to be prepared to fire a friend.
Absolutely.
And it's much more difficult for business to navigate when there's emotion involved.
Absolutely.
Because if this guy starts bringing me bad product, I have a responsibility in my business. I have to cut him loose.
Yeah.
And if he's my friend, my best friend, I'm not,
I know.
It's too difficult because you're commingling it. So, you know, I have friends, I have business associates. I don't have friends that are business associates. So it's,
and that's why that was one of the big takeaways, was the fact that everything is just like you just separate it. I forgot the thing.
Yeah, just separate business, pleasure, working, fun.
You just sorry. What I want to say is, for him, I think if he saw you, because he doesn't see you. Because you guys don't have that personal relationship, it will always be a professional. And I think that's why the level of exigence, the level
respect both sides.
Yes, is just so high. However, if you guys were friends, then all of a sudden there's like, he's not going to mind. He's not going to mind. He's not going to mind. And at one point, it's not going to work anymore, you know?
That's right.
And I think the other thing that shocked me was all of the relationships that you have out there on the field, whether it's your pickers, professionals, anyone, you know, from your employees, everyone, the amount of respect there is around you and is just crazy. But I must say that respect has been built for years and years and years, you know.
But even though our relationship is not friends, if I had a flat tire at 3 o'clock in the morning, I can call him, he's going to come right away. If he had a flat tire at 3 o'clock in the morning, he could call me, I would come right away. The respect and the loyalty is what I value to the highest over money, over anything. Respect and loyalty, that is the currency that I live by. So we went to Plant City today. You did well over there. We went to The next one's Silver Moon, which is 15 minutes up the road. Did you? I think you might even did better over there.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Yeah. You did better at Silver Moon.
We clean there.
And we got there at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. You very late. I even asked you, how long has this been open for? And you said, well, it's been since 6. Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point I say, when you're popping left and right, you say, what is this? I say, popping on deals. Like you were going to this vendor, this vendor, this vendor. Yeah, you were doing great over there. You did a really good job.
So as people saw on the video, on the recap, it's just so important to just know your Rolodex, you know. Not everyone values a Nike Air Force the same way they might value a Vibram 5 Fingers, you know. However, the best thing is the resale value on them too is probably more on the 5 Fingers than on the Air Force.
And that's the name of the game right there. So does everyone value the polo bear shirt that's on the floor? No. Sometimes maybe they'll value a Under Armour shirt or this shirt more just for the utility because we live in Florida. But if it's a polo bear sweater, that's the stuff you got to know. So after that, we went to Longhorn. It was too much food, man. Even I'm stuffed. But then we came to the park. We saw the alligator, and it just never stopped. So now, unfortunately, like we said on the way here, as soon as you leave the car, my wife and I were going to go. We miss that guy, man. So I just want to say, when we did the podcast and after the podcast, we talked a little bit. You shared some great news with us. Very, very proud of you, everything that you've accomplished. I said, hey, if you ever want to come to America, my house is your house. You can stay with us. He slept in the podcast room, by the way, the all-white room. He slept in that one. I said, you could come over, play baseball in the front. We can go to the flea market. We can go to the boot sale, as they call it. I'll introduce you to the #1 shoe seller. I'll introduce you to my best guy. And I only do that because I know it's not going to be wasted. And I know how much potential you have.
Thank you.
And the week was an absolute pleasure to have you. And when I extended the offer, 4 days later, this guy had a book ticket and a cleared visa. And I said, okay, now it's time to go. And he told me, hey, don't take it easy on me. I can sleep when I go back home. But you're not sleeping when you go back home.
No, there's for me, these has, I know you hate these, but for me, there's not even words to express the gratitude that I have towards you and your family, towards everything that you've done, you know, the hours that you've spent, the amount of questions I've asked you, you know, like I know that I don't take it for granted, and I don't want anyone to think that I know that I am probably the luckiest man alive when it comes to reselling. You know, I am aware of it, but now I've only done 10% of the job. I've recorded the information. I know how it has to be done. But if people think that because I've hung with tech for a week, my business is going to change, it's not like that. I need to go and now apply it. And for me, I know how I am, so I know I'm not going to. I know I will make you proud, you know. But there is just no reason on earth, there is a single doubt on earth that I will ever, because if now I go back home, if I don't do anything, I've wasted a full time of your time, a full week of your time, of your wife, of your people, of everyone's, you know. Everyone we met. Exactly. What did I have? A lovely time and a sunny here in Florida? It's not that, you know. No. I've seen what hard work can give you, and trust me, I have seen it from the #1 shoe seller in the world to the #1 picker in the world. I've seen the rewards of both, you know. And one thing that doesn't lie is hard work will always recompense you, you know, absolutely every single time. So for me, I know you don't like the flowers and stuff, and I know I've said it many times already, but it's just nothing but a pleasure and an honor. I don't want to, you know, like, I just don't know what else to say. What you say to the #1 shoe seller is like, you change people's lives, you know. And yeah, do I have like the, how do they call it, the imposter syndrome, where I say, why me, you know, out of the thousands of people, why am I the lucky one to be here? You know, you said why, and I take those words, you know, I do really appreciate them. You know, you are a role figure for me. You are like, whatever I think people call mentors or whatever, but you more than that, you know, you've helped me on the human side of things to the business side of things. And one thing that I would put on record is I will make you proud.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. You, man. Thank you very much.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
I will be going to London.
Yeah.
And this guy going to return the favor. We're going to go to the car boot.
Yeah.
and this guy's going to have an amazing operation.
I hope UK is ready for you, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
It's
you.
been an absolute pleasure rolling with this guy. Like I said, when he closes the door, we're going to miss him. And this isn't the end. We'll meet again. We'll hang out
100%,
again.
yeah.
I'll be over there in the UK.
Yeah.
And you're going to take me all around Europe, and we're going to have fun.
It's the least I can do.
That's it. As always,
Thank
be
you.
great. Thank you.